of the building. Just incredible what we are witnessing here from about 5 miles away from the World Trade Center.
Jim, I don't know if you were able to see the videotape that we showed moments ago, and if you have any information at all as to what type of plane and what carrier may be involved.
We do not have that as of yet, Michael. Unfortunately, we were unable to see that video. My pilot, Ed Baker, is right now talking with air traffic control. We're trying to determine what exactly happened here, what type of plane, to be exact, was involved here, as well as the carrier involved.
We're showing people again that videotape that was shot just moments ago of that second plane making impact into the second of the trade centers. Again, both 110 stories tall, 40,000 people working between the two. Jim, from your vantage point, and I know you had mentioned that you're 5 miles away, are you able to see any activity on the ground?
Unfortunately, at this point, Michael, it'd be very difficult to make that activity from the ground. Right now, you're looking at a shot of lower Manhattan, and unfortunately, we can't determine what has happened on the ground, what type of damage has been done to the other buildings surrounding the World Trade Center.
Again, yeah, right. And people we understand the evacuation is undergoing at the stock exchange. They're trying to get the people out of there. Obviously, no word from the mayor on this. Obviously, he's trying to gather information, as are we. Again, trying to send Marcella Palmer down there, but no doubt traffic is quite chaotic right now as we try to get down there. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking live from Chopper 2 at an unbelievable sight. If you're just tuning in, 2 planes have crashed into the World Trade Center, both in Tower number 1 and 18 minutes after that, Tower number 2, and we saw it here live on CBS 2. No word on casualties, no word on injuries for that matter, no word on why or how this happened. We understand the plane may have been heading towards LaGuardia or originating. Yeah,
Details are beginning to trickle into our newsroom now, and Marcia Kramer, joining us with some further information. Marcia, what do you know?
In our newsroom.
Well, Michael, as you know, things are really chaotic at the present time. There are several things that we do know. Obviously, you've already shown pictures of 2 planes that hit the World Trade Center 18 minutes apart. Witnesses are telling us that they heard and they felt the reverberation of the crash as much as 200 yards away from the crash site. NYU Beekman Downtown Hospital, which is the nearest hospital to the scene, has been put on alert. A spokesman there told us right now it is total chaos. There are waiting casualties and security people are all over the scene. Also, there's speculation about what caused the flight, the crash. There is some speculation that it could have been a problem with the air traffic control system. Others speculate that it could be some kind of terrorist attack. It's too confusing and people just don't know what's happening right now. Also, the stock exchange is being evacuated and most of the buildings in lower Manhattan are also being evacuated. Now, there's no immediate word on the injuries or fatalities in this twin disaster. Again, it happened just before 9 a.m. and then again 18 minutes later. The towers, you should remember, were struck by bombers in February of 1993. The plane was coming in low and it looked like a hit at a slight angle, said one witness, a CNN vice president. This is according to the CNN network. Now, witnesses also say that large holes are visible in the side of the 110-story building landmark towers. The tops of the Twin Towers were obscured by the smoke. Thousands of pieces of what appeared to be office paper came drifting over Brooklyn about 3 miles from Tower 1, this according to another witness. The center bombing on February 26, 1993, killed 6 people and injured more than 1,000 others. In 1945, an Army Air Corps B-25, a twin-engine bomber, crashed into the 79th floor of the Empire State Building in dense fog. We're also told that witnesses report that there were 2 explosions that were about 18 minutes apart. I can also tell you that the mayor's office is having an emergency meeting. You can expect that they will be convening at the emergency command tower, which is at 7 World Trade Center, right across from the scene. That's supposed to be bomb-proof and shatterproof, and they have a headquarters there on the 7th floor. They will probably be monitoring this crisis from that area. Again, Beekman Downtown Hospital has been put on alert. There are waiting casualties, and security is at the scene. That's all the news we have right now. Back to you in the studio.
Marcia, stay with us just a second. If Jim Smith and Chopper 2 could do me a favor and hold this live picture that you're seeing now of the scene. 2 plane crashes, one just before 9 o'clock, the other just moments after. We're hearing, Marcia, from the Associated Press that the FBI is investigating reports of a plane hijacking before this crash. Have you heard anything on your end?
We haven't heard anything yet, but you know, the fact that it see, the thing is that there are two things that happen when you have two crashes 18 minutes apart. It can be one of two things. It can be something that was planned by a terrorist group, or it can be just that the air traffic control system completely crashed. This is going to take a lot of investigating. It's too early to rush to judgment. Right now, I think the major concern for most people here in New York City is getting the people out of the building and treating the casualties. That's why New York City hospitals have been put on alert. I can guarantee you that after NYU downtown is, evaluates some of the injuries, they will be fanned out to other places in New York City. Bellevue Hospital has a major trauma center. That's not too far away. And all of the emergency medical service ambulances are also on alert. Remember, when there was the prior crash, there were 1,000 injuries. So it's going to take a lot of hospitals, a lot of doctors and nurses to deal with this crisis.
We still see debris falling. Now, do we want to go to Chapter 2 or to our eyewitness next? Is Wake Shaw still there? Not yet. Mr. Shaw?
Yes?
Wake Shaw, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. Good morning. And what can you tell us? Where were you and what did you see?
I'm standing on the roof of my building in the Lower East Side, and I had rushed up here to see what was on the news, and I couldn't believe it. And suddenly, a very large jumbo, which might have been an Airbus with navy blue and bright red markings, which might have been an American, some sort of American plane, just suddenly came diving into the building, which was just terrifying because you could see it happening, and it just headed right for the building, which seems to be quite a coincidence.
It certainly is.
I want to take a moment to remind people, it clearly shouldn't bear too much reiteration, but the New York Stock Exchange has been evacuated. That entire area is an area to avoid, the financial district in Lower Manhattan. Clearly a problem area. It can't be overstated. The smoke billowing from both towers.
Oh my God.
What do you see? You see the smoke?
Oh, no.
Okay. Are you able to see something that we're not able to see on our monitor right now?
No, I'm sorry. It's nothing to do with this.
Okay. But you're not able to see anybody on the ground there, Ms. Shaw, huh?
No, I can't. I can't.
All right. We appreciate your calling very much. That's right. You want people to warn people to stay away. And Michael, you've got...
We have a word of a couple of security issues, apparently. Marcia Kramer in the newsroom keeping us up to date with some developments from that end. Marcia?
Situation like this happens, what the city does is go into its emergency command center, and they have a procedure that's been in place for some time since the World Trade Center bombing originally that allows them to deal with crises like this. They have major security people that respond to that scene. It's not only emergency response people, but you'll have FBI, members of the Joint Terrorist Task Force, the New York City Police Department, the New York City Fire Department, and others who are expert in determining whether this was a terrorist attack or just an accident. I can also tell you that as a precautionary measure, the United Nations, which is on the East River, and it is also a tall glass structure which might be in the flight path going to Kennedy Airport and LaGuardia Airport, the UN has now been evacuated as a precautionary measure. Also, again, the stock exchange and most of the buildings in Lower Manhattan are also being evacuated. There's no word right now whether Mayor Giuliani has evacuated City Hall and he has moved to the emergency command center. Again, the New York City Police, New York City FBI office, and others are on the scene. I'm told by witnesses that there are security people all over the scene down there, but again, what they're trying to do is find a way to evacuate the people who are injured, to get the injured out, to get the people who are not injured out of the building, and to evacuate both towers of the World Trade Center. That's all we have right now. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Marcia, you mentioned that the FBI is looking into it. How long do you think it's going to take them to determine this? It's a matter of a phone call, isn't it? Or is it? Because we can call LaGuardia Airport, we can ask them, what about your flight plan? Who was scheduled to land? Who was scheduled to take off? Or not? How difficult is that going to be by, this morning?
Well, it's probably very hard to get information right now for several reasons. For one thing, the Port Authority, which runs the airports, actually is based and has offices in the World Trade Center, so it might be a little difficult for them to have information. But what they do have is a tower at Kennedy Airport and that controls the traffic for Kennedy, LaGuardia, and Newark airports. They can very quickly pull up their radar, and they can go as far away as Boston to pull up the radar from Boston to see if there are any unusual flight plans or any unusual planes that show up on the radar screen, and they can